Good morning, Vietnam. Oh, this isn't Vietnam. This is the chat room. Hi, chat room. It's me, Lenny Melnick. Welcome aboard. Do I sound good like him? Do I sound like it? Welcome aboard, everybody. Yes, I can do that. Hola, Greg. We're going to come see you. See, we're going to come see you and MJ and Katie Little. I can't wait. It's going to be very fun for us. I look forward to it, to come see you guys and have drinks. And also, we should probably get our podiatrist friend, too, to come along. And I just learned about this yesterday, so I'm excited about that. We're looking forward to our trip soon. And I'm doing the podcast today because Lenny's at the tax man. We got a letter in the mail saying that he owes quite a bit of money from 2017, apparently, and so that's pretty stressful. But he pays somebody to do his taxes, and now he's back over there to see what's up with this guy. So I don't know what kind of what kind of warranty do they have when they do your taxes? Do they guarantee that you're not going to owe like $10,000 or $20,000 just random? Just be like 2 years later, hi, this is the IRS, you owe $10,000. Pay up. What's one to do about that? You go to your tax man and be like, yo, dude, fix my shit or I will not ever come back here because, I don't know, this has been Lenny's tax man for maybe 30 years or something. Long time. I'm sure he'll get it worked out, but he's a little stressed out today, so I am here, yours truly. And yesterday, that guy and we did our show on Sunday. We've moved our show from Monday to Sunday because, well, for so many reasons. Like, I can't think of one reason why we do it on Monday. So when we figured this out, we laughed at each other and said, why did it take us like 8 months to figure out that Sundays are better? That's when people do their fab bidding. That's when you can actually like preview the week ahead. You know, Monday night, you're just relying on like about 6 games that are currently going on and nothing to talk about. So that was a good show. We talked about Andrew Luck for about 30 minutes, which we didn't plan, but of course that was the news of the day yesterday. So there's that. I broke it up into about 3 or 4 different shows, different segments where I'm trying something new to see if it's not necessarily like to, anyway, whatever it is. I do want people to listen to the podcast. It's just not my number one goal to go out and get a bunch of listeners. Although I do feel like if I do a good show, then people will come. Kind of like if you build it, they will come. And so that's what we're trying to do with our show, That Guy Fantasy Baseball. You can check that out on demand. So let's just get right to this. Box scores and whatever happened yesterday. The Washington Nationals swept the Cubbies at Wrigley Field for the first time since 2005. So that's pretty good. They actually tried not to win the game. They tried not to sweep yesterday. They really tried hard. In the eighth inning, they gave up the lead, right? So then they go into extra innings. They went into 11 innings total. But, of course, they get a pair of runs in the 11th, and they beat the Cubs 7-5. It was their 5th win in a row. Now they have a 3-game sweep of the Cubbies at Wrigleyville for the first time since '05. And they've won 12 of their last 14 games. They have can you believe this? They have a 4-game lead for the National League wildcard spot. Like, where did they come from? Their bullpen is horrible. And their bullpen, that's their biggest problem. They were 19-31 on May 24th. And since then, they're 54-26. It's literally the best 80 games that they've ever had in Nats history. They were ahead by 3 runs when they entered the 7th inning, and then bullpen problems. Hunter Strickland, solo homer. Fernando Rodney, a 2-run homer. That's no bueno. Fernando Rodney, though, we already know. I mean, if they're, do I really have to explain Fernando Rodney? I didn't even know he was still playing in baseball, to be honest with you. But believe me, I owned him for his last couple. I mean, the last couple of seasons, I owned him proudly. He was getting hella saves. He doesn't pitch enough innings to really screw you up in roto overall, you know. Same with Shane Green. If you're getting like 40 saves, I really could care less if your ERA is a little over 4, honestly. Because like I said, I don't think they pitch enough innings for it to actually really affect you. If it's a points league, it's probably a lot different. But Rendon went 4 for 5. He's got a hit streak of 12 games. Lewis and I were arguing over Rendon's value, and Lou was making the argument that Rendon can be considered a first round pick next year. And I think he just was bringing it up and bringing it to the attention because you don't think of Rendon as a first round player typically. I definitely don't because I drafted the fool in 2000. I think I drafted him in 2010, but it was the year right after his excellent season, might have been his career season, and then he was hurt the whole next season. So I had a little bit of bad juju with him, and so I just, when I think of the first round, I can't put him in there. But I understand Lou's point. I mean, he's hitting very well this year. Dave Martinez, he had a conversation with Daniel Hudson, who was about to return in to the mound okay, he goes in there. Daniel Hudson needs to be picked up, man. I'm telling you, 10 pitches and took him to get through the 10th inning, 10 pitches. And that was he was coming back in to face the middle of the lineup. He retired all the 6 batters that he faced, and then the Nationals won the game. So thank goodness for Daniel Hudson, and that's what the Nationals are saying right now, because without him, they wouldn't be winning. I think he should be picked up. I don't know when their closer's coming back even, so who knows. We talked about him on Monday night. Last Monday night we talked about him, his injury. So the Nats, yes, doing better than I was even thinking that they were doing, because I don't look at the standings every day, but it sure seems like it's hella close. It's been so close in the National League. Like, nobody can complain about this. I understand there's things to complain about. There's always something to complain about if you really want. But the fact that there's too many home runs, I understand the frustration with that. I don't know. So anyway, let's move on. Tampa Bay at Baltimore. Baltimore has won some surprising games. Beat Tampa Bay up. This might have been the second time out of 3. They might have swept them. The Baltimore Orioles were just walking all over Tampa. I'm going to look at their score from the other day. I think that Baltimore beat Tampa Bay 14-0 or something really crazy like that. And so every time I think that a team is going to be the easiest team to beat, like, we all probably pick pitchers that are pitching against Detroit, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, right? I mean, it might not be that great of an idea right now because some of these teams are just hitting like crazy, like Baltimore. They are hitting like a madman. Miami, they're pretty safe they're pretty safe at home as far as the pitchers are okay. They're okay at home. Even your pitcher or the opposing pitcher traveling to Miami, that's always a good sign because the ballpark is, on top of the fact that they have a crappy team, their ballpark is very conducive to pitchers. So, but I'm telling you, some of these teams like Kansas City, we're going to talk about a few teams upsets yesterday. Big surprises. Lots of milestones yesterday too. Lots of milestones going on. So the Rays beat the Orioles 5-2 on Saturday, what day? The 22nd, whatever day that is. And where the hell are they? The Orioles, Kansas City. They played Kansas City. They beat Kansas City 8-1 on the 21st. So, and the Baltimore Orioles are not to be messed around with right this second. Another team not to be messing around with is the Cardinals. Don't mess around with the Cardinals. I say don't even think of streaming pitchers against the Cardinals right now. Just don't do it. The Baltimore Orioles are 4-6. They've won their last 2. But the Cardinals, are you kidding me what they're doing right now? They think they've won 14 of their last 16 games straight. We're going to talk about it in a second. I'll go back to my notes now. Okay, Tampa Bay at Baltimore. Lots of kiddos. Renato, 4 RBIs. DJ Stewart, we talked about him yesterday in our show. Malpal was asking what we thought about him. We actually did a little bit of digging while we were talking about it, and, he's a rookie. So he hasn't started off his MLB career great, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to be good. It just means don't put him in your active roster this time of year if you're trying to win. Keep him, though, for next year, especially. Jonathan Villar, he's been working on his swing. And, ultimately he's working on his swing to work on his timing, right? Now he's got a career-high 20 home runs. He's tied with Lindor for the most among switch hitters, 9 with 9 homers and 11 steals since late July. Beginning of August, basically. The Orioles have never ever had a 30-30 guy, and Jonathan Villar just became company with 4 other hitters from this season that are 2020. And I know it's easy to look up, so don't be tempted, but I do want you guys to play along. I want to know the other 4 batters that are 2020 this season, besides Jonathan Villar. He's batting .364 with 53 hits since late July. It's unbelievable. He's the 6th Oriole to join the 2020 club, the first since Manny Machado did it in 2015. But these other trivia question that I'm asking you, it's not just Orioles. It's the entire MLB this season. There's 4 other guys that have already hit that. And one of them is really surprising to me, and the others are not surprising. But one of them is absolutely surprising, and I'll just spit it out. It's Jose Ramirez with 24 stolen bases. We knew he was stealing bases, right? That was about the only thing that he was doing at the beginning, and even right up till the All-Star break, right? Right up till it. And he's got 20 homers now and 24 stolen bases. He's going to actually finish the season looking pretty good, considering what you've all been through with him this year. Any owners have to be exhausted with him. But obviously you have to be feeling very satisfied at the fact that Jose Ramirez is hitting, and he's actually going to finish the season with good numbers. He's one of 5 in the entire major leagues that's hit 2020 this season. The other one's Acuna, of course, might be the best player in baseball next year. Might just be right now, but next year, who knows? He's got 30 bombs and 30 stolen bases. He's a 30-30 guy. This guy is in his sophomore season. You're kidding me, right? He's excellent, this guy. So, Christian Yelich, of course, and then Starling Marte. Yelich has 41 bombs, 25 stolen bases, and Marte has 22 home runs and 24 stolen bases. He's obviously having the best season of his career, too. Unfortunately for him, the Pirates aren't very good. They have been. They've been hitting lately, I think. So, let's talk about Kansas City at Cleveland. I don't know if it's because I like Kevin a lot that I enjoy his show, and I think that he's a great friend here in the community. I feel like I want to root for Kansas City. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I've been wanting to root for them all season. Probably because they came out, they were going to steal all these bases. Billy Hamilton was there. It was going to be like, they have some surprise players that we didn't expect, but Kansas City I like to root for. Soler entered the game on a 10-game streak where he didn't hit a home run. Boo, okay? I don't feel bad for that, but that was pointed out. He ended that in the 5th inning. He hit his 36th home run. That tied him for second place on the Royals single-season home run list with Steve Balboni from 1985. Okay? He's now within 2 of tying Mike Moustakas for the club record for homers in one season, and Moustakas has 38, so he only needs, 2, right? He's got a lot of games, 30-something games left in the season. He's going to hit it. And guess what? Franmil, my boy, Whoopi Franmil, he homered in the 8th inning. The Indians scored 4 more runs in the 9th inning. They really tried to win this game, but they didn't. They couldn't win. They scored 1 in the 10th, or Kansas City scored 1 in the 10th, and that was over. It was all over. But Cleveland, they tried to come back. They started scoring runs in the 7th. Well, they scored 2 in the 3rd, and then nothing until the 7th. They scored 1. The 8th, they scored 1, and then in the 9th, they scored 4. So it wasn't, it wasn't over until it's over. It's not over till it's over, people. So Ian Kennedy got the win. I don't know. He believe me, he didn't deserve it, okay? He didn't. Ryan O'Hearn, he's batting 191 on the season. He's actually hit his 8th home run in the 3rd inning. And then he hit the go-ahead home run off of Nick Goody in the 10th. So Ryan O'Hearn showing his power. And Kansas City beats the Indians. But I don't think that's going to hurt the Indians too much. Anyway, Atlanta at the Mets. What a fun series this always is with Atlanta and the Mets. I think it's so fun. Josh Donaldson, there was something, and I don't know if it was yesterday, but it's a good chance that it was. It was in this series because they were at Citi Field, and Josh Donaldson saw these Mets fans, of course, in the front row, and he went up to this little girl and he said, "If you please touch my bat for power, for good luck." and he goes out there and he hits a home run, right? So he comes back around and he brings that little girl an autographed bat. It says, "To my biggest fan," right? Josh Donaldson. That's pretty cool. I love the interaction between the fans, especially when you're not even home. You're actually interacting with the opposing team's fans, which I think is great. Atlanta and the Mets have a healthy rivalry, So anyway, Atlanta swept the Mets yesterday, which I think we can look back on this and say this is when it turned the corner for the Mets. This is when they figured it out. I don't know if they have figured it out, but I would feel pretty disappointed if I got swept by Atlanta. Atlanta, they took 11 out of 16 games that they faced each other this season. I mean, Yuri's Familia, he hasn't been good at all. It's so disappointing. But he comes out, he has to pitch for the third time in 3 days. There's so many effed up bullpens in baseball this year that I believe that the World Series is going to be won based off a bullpen. Whoever's got the best bullpen, that's who's going to win. And I really hate saying that because who comes to mind when you think of a great bullpen? The first team. Ugh. Gosh, no. Anyways, the Mets, they scored 7 runs in 32 innings in this series against the Braves. And that is including the fact that Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, and Freddie Freeman, all 3 of them combined for only 6 hits in 41 at-bats. 6. The Mets went 4 for 23 with runners in scoring position in the 3 games. Ramos was 5 for 8. He's actually got a 19-game hitting streak, Wilson Ramos, right now. That's excellent. Jeff McNeil was activated. He got back into the lineup yesterday. Brandon Nimmo is down at AAA rehabbing. Said it's a good day for him. Another good day down at AAA in rehab assignment. The Cubbies, they were also swept. We already talked about that. They were also swept at Wrigley this weekend by the Nationals. So, because of that, the Mets didn't lose ground. So maybe this isn't a turning point, right? Maybe this isn't in their mind at all because in all actuality, they could just pretend like it never happened. The Cubbies got swept too. So they have the second wild card spot. They sit 2 games back, and they're about to bring the Cubbies home to Citi Field. That's the next series. That'll be good too. That's what makes all of these series so fun. Josh Donaldson became one of 3 batters in the last 35 years to hit 8 or more homers off the Mets in a season. So there was 2 other ones. Ryan Howard is 1. And I swear I wanted to say Chipper Jones. I was sure that Chipper Jones was one of these 3 in the last 35 years that have hit 8 home runs off the Mets in a season, right? Wouldn't you think that? This guy named his kid, or did he name his kid Shay? He might have named his kid Shay. Or his dog. Either way. So maybe it's just at Citi Field where he's awesome. And maybe it was at Shea Stadium, actually. Not Citi Field. That's probably it. I love how I work out these things in my head on the podcast. It's pretty impressive, don't you think? The Phillies lost 3-2 to the Marlins. They dropped another series to the worst, could be the worst team in baseball, but one of them, definitely. In the last 2 weeks, they went 5-0 against the Cubbies and the Red Sox, right? And then they go 2-4 against the Padres and the Marlins. It's like, what's up, Philly? What's your problem? They're 67-62 on the season. The Miami Marlins are 47-82. Nola, he's 12-4. The Phillies, they're not. I don't think that they have it together yet. Do you guys think they have it together yet? I still believe Atlanta could win the World Series. I do. I think Atlanta could win. Who else? The Dodgers. They could definitely make it. Some interesting information about that when we talk about the Yankees. Oakland loses to San Francisco. San Francisco beats Oakland 6-5. That was the Giants' 30th one-run game this season. That's a lot of one-run games. I wonder what their record is in 30 one-run games. Yesterday, it was a win. Mark Canha got 2 home runs. That's 22nd. The San Francisco Giants, 2-game sweep. And it put them back at 500 for the season, and they're actually within 4 games of a wild card spot. There's 32 games left to play, people. There's still time. It's not that crazy to think that a team 4 games out could do it. Fangraphs actually has their playoff odds at 1.4%. So, not looking good according to Fangraphs. But that's baseball, you know? Bruce Bochy, that was his 4,000th game as a manager. That's ridiculous. Good. I mean, excellent. So Madison Bumgarner came in and strolled into his office before the game, and he lets Bochy know that he was just about to hit a milestone. 4,000th game. They got him a cake and everything, and, he's probably going to go down as one of the best managers in history, baseball history. I mean, the guy is just solid manager all the way around. People love playing for him. That says something right there. Longoria, he's playing like a 10-5 player should be playing. He's got 1,000 RBIs now. That was RBI number 1,000 last night. He's got a 17th home run. He has plantar fasciitis. I did not even know that he did have that. I knew that he spent some time on the injured list, but I don't know him. I didn't know that it was plantar fasciitis. It makes me think of Albert Pujols immediately. I think of his horrible pain that he was in, but regardless, let's just forget about that and we'll celebrate his milestones, okay? 1,000th RBI. He's 23 for 68. He's got a .338 batting average with 2 doubles, 4 homers, and 17 RBIs since he returned from the injured list on August 4th. So basically the month of August. He's absolutely crushing it, helping San Francisco win games. It's no joke. Detroit at Minnesota. Holy moly. They lost to, the Twins, 7, the Tigers, 4. And it's Martin Perez that deserves a little bit of chatter here for a second. He's 9-5 on the season, but he didn't allow a Detroit Tiger batter to make hard contact against him until the 5th inning. Today they head out on a 10-game road trip, by the way. But Martin Perez, 2 earned runs, 6 innings, 100 pitches. Earlier in the season and pretty much his entire career, he struggles with walking batters. He just allows too many runners on the base paths. But he's now has changed his ways. He is last night he threw his cutter 43 times out of 100 pitches. He says he feels better because what he was doing is working to his glove side most of the season. And now last night he was using both sides of the plate. He said that he feels much better when he uses both sides of the plate because he likes to throw one on the inside and throw one on the outside. I mean, it makes sense, right? His first 5 starts in the second half of the season, though, he had a 7 ERA. And right now, just yesterday, he pitched in his third, I would call it at least a quality start. Good start. His third solid start. His last 2 were against Milwaukee and Texas. But keep an eye on him. He's worth paying attention to. I think he actually pitches against Detroit again this week at some point. CJ Cron, he's been horrible. Please, man. It's like, God, what's wrong with you? But he had a 3-run homer, okay? Jonathan Scope, the other loser on Minnesota that just fell apart early. Well, Scope never even came to the party today or this year, but Cron did come to the party. He was very satisfying for a long time. So I have to remember that I got more than I paid for with him, I think. The White Sox, what did they do? They beat Texas. The White Sox, they've won 5 of their last 7 series. Go White Sox. Reynaldo Lopez, he's another one. 80 pitches in 5 innings. He walked 3 and struck out 6. Then he left the game with dehydration and nausea. It's kind of like heat stroke or something they're playing it off as. But this guy, they say he hasn't been feeling good for 3 days. Straight up, 3 days. He's been dizzy. He's been like lethargic, sweating, all these things. I say get out of my clubhouse and go home and put a pillow over your face or no, don't put a pillow over your face because you won't breathe. Just go home and stay alone. That's what I would say. The White Sox pitchers, okay, they limited opponents to 4 hits or less in 4 of the last 5 games. The starters have a 2.80 ERA since August 7th. They have a 14-11 record in August, and they're 60-70 overall. I said 32 games left to play. I mean, Lopez, he had 15 swinging strikes last night. 5 innings. Then the 4 other White Sox pitchers came in to combine. It sounds like the Yankees, they came in, they combined 1 hit. They 1-hit the Rangers. Chu got a hit. He got a leadoff single in the 6th inning, and that was it for them. They allowed no more. 1 hit. And my boy Jose Abreu. I just like this guy. I don't know if he's going to be any kind of reasonable price next year because he literally just drove in his 100th run of the season. And now he has 5 seasons with at least 100 ribbies. And there's only 6 seasons total, people. Last year was his one season that he didn't get it. But the day before yesterday, he got 1,000 hits. So I said, lots of milestones, okay, going on in baseball. And it's kind of fun. That's always fun. Especially with Players Weekend, too. Players Weekend is pretty fun. I love the shoes. I can't get enough of the shoes. I think every player should wear all of their kind of personalized shoes every time. Right? I mean, if the whole Little League squad can stand behind home plate and try to rattle up, get Kimbrel all worked up, right? And it worked. Literally, he just hit it. He totally hit a batter. These Little League kids were standing up behind home plate. They were doing his crane stance, All of the kids were. And he threw a pitch right into the batter, right into his leg. So he was definitely distracted, right? That's pretty fun. Lurie Garcia, we were talking about him yesterday on the show, and he left the game in the 7th. He was hit by a pitch. There was runners on first and second. Nobody was out. So he suffers a left shin contusion, and he's day-to-day. Arizona at Milwaukee. The Diamondbacks beat the Brewers 5-2. The Diamondbacks, they move now to 5 games behind the Cubs for the second NL wildcard spot. All these teams are within reach. Robbie Ray returned from the 10-day injury list yesterday. He couldn't be better for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They've been losing games. They've been just, losing momentum in every game. It matters right now. He struck out 4 batters in his first 3 innings, and then it got a little crazy for him. He loaded the bases, okay, and then he got a ground out in that threat. And then he did go 5 innings, no runs, okay, 3 hits, but he walked 4 batters. That's just unacceptable for this guy. It struck out 6. That does not make up for the 4 walks. 63 of 103 were strikes, 12 swinging strikes. It was his 11th win of the season, right? He's 11-7. And Arizona had 6 hits combined in the first 2 games of the series. Just sounds just like the Mets. 6 hits total, 2 games. Zach Davies was the pitcher on that side. Christian Walker, 438-foot, 2-run homer in the first inning. He went 3 for 5 in the game. I hate it when they say, please don't write a triple shy, because a triple's a big deal, and it's not that easy to get. So don't say a triple shy of the, cycle. It's not that easy to get a triple. That's why you always hear, he was a triple shy, right? Nobody's ever a single shy. I mean, maybe, I'm sure it's happened, but you don't hear that. You always hear triple, because a triple's not easy to get. Somebody either has to fumble it up in the outfield, or you have to have it bounce off some kind of wall or something, Anyway, that was that. Arizona beating Milwaukee. Milwaukee's not having a great time. What's the standings with them? They've won 2, okay, their last 10, they are 5-5 in their last 10. So are the Cubbies. Atlanta and Washington, they're both 8-2 in their last 10. That's really good. Let's see what else we could find here. Houston and Oakland, both 7-3 in their last 10. So is Seattle. They don't matter at this point. Minnesota 7-3 in their last 10. Boston 7-3 in their last 10. They have no hope. Okay, don't even go there. They have no hope. That's the truth. I hate to say it. The bullpen has actually been much better than anticipated. We really thought, everybody did, that the bullpen is where their holes are, and look at their bullpen. Just ask yourself which of these guys you would even roster on your fantasy team, and the answer is probably none of them. Truth. Eovaldi, but yeah, I don't know. Colorado, St. Louis. Colorado Rockies play all 7 games at home this week. They're playing all 7 games at home. They beat the Rockies 11-4. No, St. Louis is beating everybody. Do not even think of putting a pitcher up against him unless his name is Max Scherzer or somebody good. Very good. Their first 4-game sweep of the Rockies since 2010. St. Louis they have an MLB leading 13 wins in their last 16 games. They're sitting right on top of the National League Central, 2.5 games ahead of the second-place Cubbies. They scored 31 runs over 4 games, okay? And Carpenter, he didn't have anything to do with that, Carpenter. Carpenter did finally hit yesterday. What are you going to do? If you own this guy, you must put him in right now. Same with Franmil. Rhys Hoskins, too, by the way. I have his ass benched. Not anymore. So, Yes, St. Louis out of control lately, hitting. And I love Dexter Fowler. I can't tell people enough about Dexter Fowler. Why is he not being utilized the way that he should be right now? He's batting leadoff. He's got like 15 RBIs in the last 10, 12 days. So Carpenter, he comes in, he gets his first multiple RBI game since June 25th. That's 2 months ago. Wait, yeah, about 2 months ago. But the Cardinals, they scored 6 runs in the second inning, and it was pretty much over for that. Then they came back, they scored 2 runs in the fifth. They just keep scoring. Marcell Ozuna, he's 6 for 13 in the series. Goldie went 7 for 16, both of them, like crazy, good. Yesterday we talked about Tyler O'Neill. Is it Tyler O'Neill that we talked about? Who's on the depth charts in St. Louis to play? Well, I don't know, but Edman is playing there too, and he's actually playing very good. So it's this. Let me just look and make sure I have the right hitter, because there's a couple of these guys. So Tyler O'Neill is his name. This guy crushes homers. We know that. We knew that going in the season. He's getting ready to come back. I don't know where they're going to play him if Tommy Edman keeps hitting the way that he's hitting. So the other day I was all stoked about it. I was like, I'm going to go pick up some home runs. I'm going to get some power. I don't know. I really don't know where he's going to have room to play. When Tommy Edman, he went 3 for 4. He's 7 for 16 in this series. I mean, he's just been hitting very good. He's stealing bases. He's hitting home runs. He's doing it all. Carpenter went 3 for 4. He entered the game hitting .212 on the season and .191 since he came back from the injured list on August 3rd. Kind of makes you wonder if he was hurt when he came back. But obviously, no, not obviously. He hasn't done anything that's obvious at this point. He had an RBI single, a home run. He says he's focused on hitting the opposite way to beat the shift. That shift has been driving him mad. If you want to know, I don't think he's injured. I think he can't stand the shift. I think it gets him all worked up mentally. And I think he really needs to try to focus on tuning him out. Tune it out. But think about it. I mean, how frustrated would you be as a hitter in the major leagues when you knew that the whole defense, the field has figured you out and there's no hope for you hitting it to the opposite side of the park? That's Joey Gallo, right? And then you know, if you know that, it doesn't make you feel good when it's brought to your attention that every time you walk up to the plate, everybody's shifting for you. That has to be disturbing for a hitter. But Matt Carpenter, he tends to start out slow. This year's an exception to the rule. He never even decided to pick up the pace at all. Now he might, but a single and a home run is not going to cut it for me to be a believer, okay? I won't. Boston Red Sox. Yeah, they lost to the Padres. Imagine that, because they're not a good team. Brian Johnson pitched 3 innings, 3 earned runs, 3 walks. There you go, 3-3-3. Did he strike anybody out? 1. So, 3 innings, good enough, whatever. Lucchesi, 5 innings, 1 earned run, he walked 2, and struck out 3. The Padres lost on Friday and Saturday, and then yesterday they scored 3 in the first inning. That was pretty much it for the whole game. Manny Margot, he reached base 3 times. He stole a base. He led off with a double. And he made an excellent catch, too. Maybe a couple of them. The Red Sox actually traded Margot for Kimbrel, I think. I think they did trade for Kimbrel and they traded Margot to the Padres, if I remember right. Francisco Mejia. He's the catcher in San Diego. He got an RBI single. He's hitting .379 in August. He actually is playing left field. This is like the ultimate catcher, you know, because when you have a catcher that actually doesn't play catcher, the chances of him getting 500 at bats go up huge. That's just huge. So he's actually played 4 times in left field this season, and 2 of them have been in the past week. But the Padres say, we have to get his bat in the lineup. He's that good of a hitter. We have to get him in the lineup, so if we need to put him out in left field, fine. That's fine by any fantasy owner, too. Believe it. James McCann, same shit. The guy doesn't play catcher, but he qualifies there, and he plays pretty much every day. I love it. Manny Machado got his first home run since July. That gave the Padres a club record of 190 homers on the season. So, there you go. The Padres, you know, how bad can you feel for them? they've improved much more quickly than we anticipated, or that I anticipated. I can't speak for you guys, but I could speak just for me. He's still hitting 207, Machado, in August. So he needs to get his shit together too, please. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Yep, Pittsburgh beat Cincinnati. Another one. I don't think there was actually, I think every game was an upset yesterday, maybe. Pittsburgh completed a 3-game sweep of Cincinnati, not just one game. They won 3 consecutive games. That was the first time since July 1st through 3rd. And they swept their first series, since June 21st through 23rd. Okay, the 11th win of the season against the Reds. Maybe they just have the Reds' number this year. They have 44 against everyone else. And that was actually their 10th straight victory at home against Cincinnati. 10th straight home victory. That means that they were in Cincinnati. Right? They were... The Pittsburgh Pirates were at home, so... Definitely not. They beat the Cincinnati Reds 10 times straight at home. The Pirates, they still are in last place. Okay, the National League Central. They've only won 11 out of 41 games since the All-Star break, okay? 11 out of 41 since the All-Star break. Jeez Louise, that is so bad. Yep, they came around this weekend. Kevin Newman, 3 runs on Saturday. And then yesterday, he went 4 for 4 with an RBI, 2 steals, and 3 runs scored. I mean, he's hitting well. Brian Reynolds, he's batting with 2 outs in the second and the bases loaded against the Red starter Trevor Bauer. What a jerk. B-Ray. What is that anyway? I'm so annoyed with him. I shouldn't be annoyed and I shouldn't whine because this is just how things work out. But what the hell is wrong with him? Fuck, his numbers are horrible, him. I didn't even put him in here. They're that bad. I can't stand to look at it. It's just unbelievable. It's making me feel like I know he's going to be cheap next year, so I should be thankful for that, right? There's always a way to look at this with a glass half full. I know it. But this guy, 182 innings, 73 walks, 4.34 ERA, 11 losses and 10 wins. This guy is not. 217 strikeouts. Whoop-de-doo. Okay? Whoop-de-freaking-doo. He's throwing so many pitches. Guess how many pitches it took him yesterday to get through 3 innings? 3! He made it 3 innings. Okay? Nobody is more disappointed in Bauer than me. Nobody. 3 innings, 79 pitches. Can you believe it? 79. 3 innings. Let's divide that by 3 and let's figure it out. 3 into 79, it's 18 pitches. 28 pitches. It's a hell of a lot of pitches. 38 pitches. It's a shit ton. It's 20-something pitches to get through. No, this can't be right. Whatever it is, it's horrible. I don't even care what it is. It was horrible. It looked horrible. He's been looking horrible. Sometimes he gets lucky and he escapes through games, but he's always getting behind in the count. I think that maybe Sporer was right about Bauer when he said that maybe Bauer could over-tinker with his pitches. And he's got 18 different kinds of sliders. And he's got 14 different curveballs. He's got 6 different breaking balls and 2 cutters. And I guess at what point would you say that it's too many pitches? Now you just have too many pitches. I don't know if that's even possible, but I do think it's possible. It's like trying to pick out a salad dressing at the grocery store. Or a cereal. Or a coffee. Literally the whole cereal aisle is full of cereal. You cannot decide there. He can't decide what pitch to throw. I really think that it's a problem for him. And it would be a problem for anybody with 35 billion pitches. He needs to calm down and he needs to go back and he needs to review what he did 2 years ago with his, I can't remember what kind of pitch it was. Anyway, it was slider. No, his slider. Whatever. Let's just say it is a slider. Okay, he perfected it. He went into 2017 or 2018. It was perfected. Then in the off season coming into this year, he's doing a whole new pitch. Whatever it was not a slider. It was Another one of his pitches that he wanted to do just like his slider. I was super excited about that. I mean, looking back on it, of course, I really do think that Paul Sporer was up to something, or he had something when he said to me that I just think he could over-tinker. I do think Bauer over-tinkers. I think that his biggest enemy is his own discourse, which is mine too, so I relate with him. Maybe that's why I like him. You know, I think that's probably why I like him. Okay, moving on. He just stunk yesterday, so another day, another Bauer sucky outing. Next year, there's always next year. Okay, the Red Sox, they're 6 back from the top wild card spot. 5.5 out of the second spot with 30 games on the calendar left for Boston. They are so not going to make the playoffs. So I should be a better fan. I hear that all the time, I think. I don't care. I'm just realistic. That's all there is to it. They're not going to get to the playoffs. If they do, it'll be a nightmare joke, dude. They'll probably have to go to Yankee Stadium and have Price pitch. Oh, no, wait. Price is hurt. So is Sale. Everybody's hurt. Junk. Throw it away. Toronto went to Seattle. They lost to Seattle 3-1. Marco Gonzalez gave up just 3 hits, and this guy comes around. He's very under the radar. I drafted him in a couple leagues because Adam Ronis really turned me on to him on a show that we did together before the season started, and he was talking about how that was one of his sleepers, and he explained why, and I liked it. He gave up 3 hits yesterday, walked 2, and he struck out 5 in 7 innings. Excellent when some pitcher goes 7 innings nowadays, right? 1 run. That was a career high for wins now for him. He's 14-10 with a 4.17 ERA. Okay, but he's 5-0 with a 2.14 ERA over his past 6 starts. He's only allowed 1 home run over the last 6 starts. So bring it on, ground ball guy. Bring it on. Seattle's 15-13 when Marcos Gonzalez pitches, compared to 41-62 with any of their other pitchers. And, I mean, Seattle's won 6 of their last 8. Right? Seager, this is all on Seager too. Not all of it, but he's been freaking not mediocre. Not mediocre for Kyle Seager right now. RBI double in the 4th. On July 21st, he was batting 186, okay, on the season. And he missed a couple months, so he didn't actually play the entire season up to July 21st, but what he did play, 186. Then, after July 21st, in the last 29 games, he's hitting 358. He's got 11 home runs and 39 RBIs. What? 39? It's crazy. I don't know if that's even that crazy, but it's crazy for him to be doing it, and he just keeps doing it, piling it on, the hitting. He's got a season average now up to 252. But his career average is 257, so he'll be finishing the season right there, and nobody will ever remember all the heartache that he put you through. Not that you would even be put through heartache for him. I don't think that you go through a lot of stress trying to figure out whether or not to keep him on your bench. He was definitely thrown away or not even drafted in a lot of leagues. He might still be available in somebody's league. Since everybody's paying attention to football now, believe me, you can move up. Don't forget it. The Astros are just, they're falling apart too, like Tampa Bay. I don't know what the Astros are doing. They have to play 500 baseball from here on. In their final 30 games, they have to play, and they have to win at least half of their games. This is just to win 100 games that they've done now this will be their 3rd season to do it. The last team that did that and won 100 games 3 seasons in a row was the Yankees in 2002 to 2004. So, yeah. They had a 9.5 game lead. Hold on, I need some coffee. Alrighty. They had a 9.5 game lead ahead of Oakland after they beat the Angels 11-2 on Sunday to polish off a 3-game sweep at Minute Maid Park. The Astros are eyeing the best record in baseball and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but their freaking hitting is not that great right now. I know this because I've been obsessed with Kyle Tucker, and all of you probably already know that. But my last few shows, I'm just like, what is going on? I mean, I know I'm not behind the scenes. I understand that I can't really be like saying that the Astros are so stupid and like, what are they thinking? But come on, I can only just see what's put out right in front of me. And that's Reddick and Marisnik coming out there and hitting like 2 home runs combined since the All-Star break. And this team, they have great pitching, the best pitching in baseball. They've lost games because they can't score any runs. And that's not okay because I know that the A's probably can't catch them at this point. 9.5 games, that's a lot of games. But wait. Let me see what they did. Of the Astros' 30 remaining games, too, only 9 of those games are against teams with a winning record. That includes the 3-game series against the Rays that begins tomorrow. And the Astros have lined up their pitching, right? It's going to be the first time that they get to use Greinke and Cole and, geez Louise, Verlander. How could I forget the Verlander? The starters for the Astros, they've gone 15-3 with a 3.21 ERA since Greinke came along. That was at the beginning of August. Verlander and Cole, it's like don't look any further for Cy Young than Houston. Literally, that's true. Verlander and Cole, amazing. Now they have Framber Valdez up, the rookie. He pitched yesterday for them. Solid start. He was called up from AAA. He came out a little shaky right out of the gate, but he held the Angels to a run and 2 hits. And he walked 5, okay, and he hit 2 batters, but he went 6 innings. So I will give the guy a break for hitting the 2 batters, but I won't give him a break for walking too many. Just joking, I will. He's a rookie, okay? Anyways, 6 innings for him. Fine, good. Excellent, 2 hits. Michael Brantley, he's got an 18-game hitting streak. Okay, good. That's one person hitting. Altuve's hitting. Literally, he's hitting 20 career-high home runs, 24 now. And Bregman, he's got a 19-game on-base streak. Josh Reddick, Mr. Irrelevant. What a convenient nickname, right? And Marisnik was Big Fudge. Okay, those 2 names were fitting until yesterday when Josh Reddick goes 2 for 3 and 3 RBIs. It's his first multi-hit game since July 14th. And I'm not joking around when I say that the 2 of them, with Reddick and Marisnik, had a total of like 11 RBIs since the All-Star break. 11 total between the 2 of them combined. New York Yankees beat the Dodgers 5-1. And this really, I think it was a fun game to watch. I think the fans love it. The fans of the Yankees, the fans of the Dodgers, all love this game. They have the best record in baseball. Both the teams, they have the best record. Yesterday, the Yankees won, and so what that happens now because of that, the Yankees. So if they do enter the playoffs and they have to face each other and they finish the season with the same record, then the Yankees are going to get the long side of the straw, and then the Dodgers don't because they beat their record against the Dodgers this season. The Yankees' win yesterday will be used as a tiebreaker for home field advantage. Okay, they hit more home runs in August than any team has ever hit in a single month in the Major League history. 61 bombs, the Yankees. Okay, Aaron Judge promised the little girl or a fan, it didn't say girl or boy, fan, that he went up to a fan and said, I'm going to hit a home run for you tonight. And that's what he did. So Judge, coming around, making good on his promises. He's such a nice guy. He's just such a nice, too bad he's a Yankee. And, I mean, but I do like him as a player, as a guy. He's just real down to earth, it seems. He's polite. Anyway, he did hit a home run. He has a home run now in 3 straight games. And 4 of the last 6. 4 of the last 6, they've been on a road trip for 6. He's hit a home run in 4 of the games. Maybe he just needed to get the hell out of Yankee Stadium. I don't know. Kershaw, 7 innings, no walks, 0 walks. Kershaw, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 innings. This guy has gone deep into every single outing that he's pitched. He's been excellent. Super great for your fantasy team. Not causing any problems, just 2.76 ERA. Bring it on. 12 strikeouts on top of all that. 0 walks, 12 strikeouts. Who does that? Kershaw. He's the only one. And then, okay, you got Adam Ottavino, Tommy Conley, Zach Britton, and Aroldis Chapman. And that guy on Monday was talking about when, not these four. I don't think it's Conley. It's a different pitcher in there. It's Green that he was talking about. So when Ottavino, Green, Britton, and Chapman combine in a game, they're 30-0. When Ottavino, Conley, Britton, and Chapman combine in a game, they are 23-0. I say, if I'm the Yankees, I'm throwing in just a bunch of relievers. I mean, they're 30-0 when those four, and 23-0 when the other four, when you substitute Conley for Green. But their bullpens lived up to everything that they expected it to be and more. I mean, I don't know if it's everything, but they've been very good. DJ LeMahieu, he hit his 22nd home run yesterday. And then on the other side, Jock Peterson, he led off with a home run too, his 26th. They both hit leadoff home runs to start the game in the first inning. Aaron Judge, 16th home run. Can you even believe Aaron Judge just hit his 16th home run? Let's just focus on the fact that he did hit a home run and that he's hit home runs in the last 3 games, and we'll move forward from that. We don't need to think about that anymore. It's all downhill from here. I mean, when I say downhill, I mean like skiing downhill, not like shit rolling downhill. Not like that. Am I done with all of these? Okay, I'm done with all of these, and it makes me happy. It's 9:52, and I'm having good timing today. Didi did get hit with a fastball, though, in the first inning. X-rays came back negative. He's day-to-day. But I can't stress enough, and watch today. If you go out and do what I'm telling you to do right now, it probably won't work for me, so I don't know. You people with bad luck, don't do it. I might not even be able to do it because it seems like I've been losing DFS so bad lately. I'm playing with my tickets that I get for my rewards for showing up every day and like saying hi. And you get MLB accomplishments in DraftKings. So I could tell you that I think that there's a few good players to just look at today. Now, whether or not I haven't even looked today. But right now, I think, is an important time of season because there's a lot of good young kids that are being useful and they're getting full-time at-bats on teams that are not going to make the playoffs. A lot of the teams that won yesterday that we talked about, they have youngsters. Dansby Swanson is coming back. He's going to be activated today at Colorado. He's got a .265 batting average on the season with 17 home runs, and he played in 100 games. He's coming back. He's going to play shortstop. Hechavarria, I don't know where he'll go, but he's coming back. Dansby Swanson. Lurie Garcia's okay. Now I think Lurie Garcia is day-to-day too. He's been useful. I would say Solak, Texas. Is it Texas kiddo? Nomar Mazara is injured. Texas outfielder. Okay. He's worth picking up in DFS especially. I'm talking about mostly DFS guys right now. I told you Tyler O'Neill, he's going to be an excellent pickup. Probably play him in the matchups, whenever he has something good for a matchup. But Tyler O'Neill, he hit like 30 in 2017. He hit like 33 home runs, and then in 2018 he hit 35 home runs. He's a power bat for sure. He's coming back to St. Louis, and I'm telling you, just throw somebody in from St. Louis. Dexter Fowler, put him in my lineup every day in DFS. And I told you I'm not winning right now, but that's not the reason why. It's mostly because I keep trying to believe in freaking Chris Davis or Matt Carpenter. I'm always like down to about $2,000, and I was thinking, I could get Chris Davis. He always stands out in the bottom of the pack because, what? We talked about Chris Davis for quite a bit last night or yesterday afternoon. I just don't get what's wrong with him. You can't just go from hitting that good or that many home runs year after year after year to hitting nothing. And they just keep rolling him out there like he's not hurt or something. Well, maybe they know something we don't know, but if the guy is hurting somehow, I would say to just put him. Why hasn't he been getting better? That's the question. I do keep picking him up in daily, and I keep kicking myself in the ass for that because the name is not working. Neither was Matt Carpenter. Thinking that Matt Carpenter was going to come back at the second half of the season. I'm drafting him every day in DFS. He didn't do shit. But eventually you have to accept the fact that he's not going to do what he's done in the last couple of seasons. He's just not going to do it. And then you have to move on and you go find other players. You go find guys like Fraley in Seattle. He could be okay. Fraley. I said Martin Perez. I don't know if he's owned now, but what about Adrian Hauser? He's going against the Cardinals. Okay, on Tuesday. Don't even mess around with that star, but if you could pick him up somehow, he's not owned. This guy has been excellent. He really has. And Aaron Savali, Adam Pluko, these two guys in Cleveland, now that Kluber is not probably coming back. I think he is not coming back for the season. Chances are good he's not. These two youngsters are going to be relied upon pretty big time, and they're both pitching fairly well. They definitely could be streamed in a good matchup. Brad Keller, Aloha told us yesterday that Brad Keller is going to be on a pitch count. They're not going to let him. They pretty much are telling him you get 100 pitches. If you go over 100 pitches, we're going to yank you out, whether it's the third inning or the fifth inning. But I don't know for sure. It was mentioned both innings and pitch count, and I'm just going to believe that it's more of the pitch count type thing than the innings limit. I don't think that's really what they're going by. I do think that 100 pitches is enough for any pitcher, though. If you're an owner of Brad Keller, I think that's refreshing news more than anything, right? It's refreshing because you have to walk around wondering if this guy who pitched like 30 innings last year or something ridiculously small, he's way past that now. He'll probably double it or triple it by the end of the season if he keeps pitching. But it's depending on the team what they're going to do with that. Brad Keller, he's going against Baltimore. Saturday, pitches against Baltimore, Dylan Bundy. And tonight, does he pitch tonight? No. Where is he? I thought he had 2 starts, and I think that's why we were talking about him on our... Oh, here we go. I still don't see him on the list. Anyway, he's going up against Baltimore in one of his outings. The other one, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have 2 starts. These are that guy's suggestions. Dylan Bundy versus Kansas City Royals. That's Brad Keller, same day. The week ahead. I'll go through this a little bit. This is fun. Tampa Bay hitters, they get to face Verlander, Cole, Greinke, Clevenger, and Bieber. That's horrible. 2 hitters that crush lefties but don't really hit right-handed pitchers, and especially not these right-handed pitchers, would be Tommy Pham and Travis d'Arnaud. You might want to bench both of those guys if you can. It's not going to hurt you too bad because they haven't really been performing. Maybe you really needed to bench them before this. Padres, they're going to face 6 right-handed pitchers and Madison Bumgarner. So Renfroe, he could be benched probably. Feel free to bench Renfroe. They face the Dodgers at home for 3, and then they go to San Francisco for 4 more games. Arizona faces the Dodgers in San Francisco too, but in the opposite order. They get to face San Francisco at home at San Francisco, and then they go against the Dodgers. Seattle gets to face 5 lefties, okay, including Mike Minor and James Paxton. Vogelbach can't hit lefties, and neither can Omar Narvaez, but Omar Narvaez is actually playing first base because Vogelbach is so bad on a daily basis. So again, Vogelbach probably shouldn't even be in your lineup right now because he's losing playing time to a freaking catcher. Because the catcher is losing playing time to Tom Murphy, who's hitting better than him, who's hitting better than Vogelbach, who's hitting better than whatever other Seattle Mariner is out there. But Kyle Seager, he can hit lefties. He should be rostered every game. 5 lefties. Colorado, I told you, gets to play all 7 games at home. 5 of those pitchers are righties. They get to go against 3 different teams in 7 games. 1 against Atlanta, 2 Boston, and 4 against Pittsburgh. So they have a pretty decent upcoming week. I would feel really great about any of those guys. Any St. Louis hitter, I think. I also think Tommy Edman. Okay? Second base, shortstop, third base, outfield. He's been held out of the lineup 4 times since July 16th. I did say Tyler O'Neill is coming back, though. Okay, and he's been starting in right field. They say he hits first or second, but I say Dexter Fowler hits first right now, and he's crushing it. So, Tommy Edman, I don't know what's going to go on there, but he is playing good. He strikes out less than 20% of the time. You know? He walks 4%, but whatever. We can deal with that from a rookie. His average exit velocity is 86 miles an hour, entering yesterday. Whatever that means. But he's 8 for 8 on stolen base attempts. 17 for 17 in 2019 on the season. And that was down in AAA. So he's 17 for 17 stolen bases down at AAA. And he's 8 for 8 in the majors. He's got good plate discipline, great base running skills, and instinct or whatever, because he's not getting caught stealing. And how are you going to bench a guy like that? I don't know how you do it. I just can't. Yeah. So just pay attention to St. Louis and don't throw any pitchers against them. And that's it. I'm hanging up now. Have a great day. It's Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, after this show, we have Artie's show next. I'm going to play it right after mine. And then what else do we have on this wonderful, beautiful new events calendar that we have? Pitches Get Stitches at 1. And, of course, Aloha Fantasy Baseball at 2. Cam, I don't know. He's iffy. We don't know for sure. He's having troubles with his computer. We're working on that. And then, of course, Roto Imbeciles, George at 6:30, and Fantasy Fisticuffs at 11. So, we'll see you around. Stay in the chat. And, Greg, I'm coming to see you guys soon. Happy Monday.